Okay, you guys, I am so excited. I have been trying for 3 days now to make this video and recording for you. I tried like a really expensive pair of headphones my son uses for his YouTube and gaming that was not working. I have recorded and recorded this over and over again and gotten so upset. So my husband finally went and bought me like this really amazing microphone to do this with. So I totally am going to write this off as a business expense. But, anyways, it's worth it though. I think you guys all wanted to see how I did this edit, and I'm happy to share it with you. So I guess let's get started. So this was the image that I posted in one of the groups, and basically I took that image and turned it into that. So got rid of mom out of the image. So a couple things. I use a tablet. That's going to make a difference. I remember when I used to edit with a mouse, and I will never, ever, ever go back. And I highly recommend you to get a tablet. They are just amazing for editing. With that said, because I use a tablet and the pen is pressure sensitive. I have different settings, so I'm not having to go and manually change my brush sizes and opacity. So if you are using a mouse, just keep in mind you're going to have, it'll be a little bit trickier. Not impossible, but trickier. The other thing that I do want to say, as far as editing an image like this, it wasn't my intention. So I don't want you to think that I tell clients that I can do these amazing things and making the rest of you look bad. I asked mom to stand there with the boys, and my intention was for her to stand on the other side, and then I'd composite it together just like a newborn shot. But it wasn't working out. She didn't understand really, I don't think, what I wanted, and also they're two wiggly little boys. Cute, but wiggly. So I told her, never mind, we'll do something else. So she has no idea that this was going into her gallery. I did send her gallery off last night. But yeah, so this will be a surprise for her, and it's worth it. I thought it was just super cute. I mean, these boys are adorable. So, all right. Okay, now I'll get started. Okay, so what I did first of all is I used my lasso tool, and I am just going to select a nice big clean chunk of this backdrop. I wanted to include this down here. It'll help me with my line here. So Control C for copy, Control V to paste, and then Control T, and I am going to change it. And obviously I'm stretching pixels while I'm doing this, but it doesn't matter because in the end I'll be fixing that when I smooth out the background. So I'm just going to kind of line up this line here all the way across and then cover these parts of mom. So I did that. Okay, I need to bring this over here 1 second so you can see my layers. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a layer mask, and then we're already set there, so grab my brush tool, and I'm going to go in and take it off of the boys a little bit here. And I'll go back in and get closer, but I'm just going to take it off the boys so that they don't have any of that on them, any of that backdrop on them. I might fast forward through some of this when I edit the video, but we'll see, because it might get boring. I did this a couple times last night, recorded this, and it took me about like 40 to 45 minutes. That was with doing all the different things you guys requested that I do, though, like the diaper and things like that. But this part doesn't take too long. Okay, so I erased it off, or, masked it off of the boys. Now I'm going to switch this back over here, and I'm going to get in close and start bringing it back in. So I just kind of do a rough around just a little bit closer. I know I just took it off, but let's see. And with his hair here, I'm gonna start up here. With his hair, I know someone had said that it looked like really copy and or cut and paste, and it did. So I did fix that, but I will show you how I did that and as well. Layers and masks are probably, to me, I feel like they're one of the most useful and important tools in Photoshop. You can do so much once you really learn those. And I took some classes with Ask Damien, and that's where I learned a lot about layers and masking. And he knows his stuff. Let's see, and I'll show you what I mean by bringing this in. So to fix his hair, I ended up taking this image where Mom isn't behind him, and I brought that in to Photoshop and put it over the top and masked it on. So that's how I got his hair to come back. So we're gonna leave that like that. Doesn't matter because I'll be adding a different top to his head. Okay, so one of the things that's pretty important to mention as we start to get into this here is color casting. Mom is wearing a bright neon outfit, which we all know is like, but can't really control what they wear. She wasn't in photos, so it didn't really matter until I did something like this. So I'm going to have some, color casting issues from that on his hair, obviously, and on his face and everything. But there's also the black. And so when I'm doing something like this, I want to make sure you can kind of see, I think, how I'm kind of getting on his skin a little bit. And that's because if we really think about it, if Mom wasn't there, there wouldn't be a black cast on him right here. There would be the background color. So I'm getting a little closer so that I can kind of get some of that black off of him. And I'm doing this a little sloppy, but hopefully you understand what I mean, because when I pull back, we're going to have to fix that more in the end, but just make sure you get close in to get these off, the color casting and stuff off. So this will take me a little bit, and I'll just kind of talk as I do it. The other thing is you don't want a really hard brush. As you get closer, it's kind of taken me a while to kind of perfect how I do this, how to make it look more realistic and less cut and paste. So it's a lot of zooming in, zooming out, changing my brush pressure and opacity and everything, and deciding how far in I want to go on their skin. But like I said, some tips are to get rid of that color that wouldn't be there if it weren't for, Mom standing there. You don't want to get it too soft, but, if you can see, I know the quality zoomed in that far is bad, but, you kind of want to use the other sides to kind of judge how soft or how crisp or whatever sharp it is. I'm probably using ridiculous terms right now. I'm trying to do this real quick before all my noisy children get home from school. So I might not do this super perfect, but I really want to at least try to get it all done. See, I'm doing this sloppy. I want to get it done for you guys so that you can see all the way through. Because I know some other things I think some of you wanted to see was the elbow and the diaper. I think those were two of the most popular questions. Let's see. So as you can see, sometimes I zoom in even closer. Oh, I know this isn't the best job, but I'm trying to do it kind of fast. I don't want to edit the video. Silence, silence, silence. Okay. Maybe it'll go faster since I've done this so many dang times. This looks like... Oh no. Yeah, I had some of that on him, so I need to get it back off. I'm coloring. Sometimes when I do this, it sounds like I'm just coloring in a coloring book or something. I kind of am. Sometimes I'll get cross-eyed while I'm doing this from staring in one spot too long, so I'll move on to a different spot. Oh my goodness. Again, being sort of sloppy when I do this. Yeah, I'm gonna switch over here now. I know someone had mentioned, you know, that I should just use retouchup.com. First of all, I like doing this. Kind of, you know, I feel proud of when I'm done, and I think we all deserve to feel proud every once in a while, since we're all so hard on ourselves. So I do like doing it. You know, it's my work. I can claim that I did it all. And I've also seen some of ReTouchUp's stuff, and I don't know. I'm not entirely impressed with everything. And I don't know how that company works, so I have no idea. So yeah, getting into these little nooks and crannies can be kind of difficult. Thankfully, there aren't that many on this image. These little boys were so good and so cute. Always makes it easier. So I'm just going to kind of move on. You get the idea there. Let's try to do some of this, and then I'll go up to the elbow and show you the elbow. We'll skip it for now. So I'm going to go around the diaper, even though in the end I did end up getting rid of it, but we'll just go around it for now. With the pants, I usually don't, you know, clothing and stuff like that, I don't get too detailed because no one's going to notice if their pants are a little thinner or something. Okay, I need to zoom in a little more. So just really lightly getting that edge, which I might need to do a little. It's looking a little too soft. Go in and clean that up a little bit. So this is a lot of zooming in and out and seeing how it's looking. You know, if it's looking too soft or blurry or whatever term you want to use. I'm just going with a smaller brush to give it a little more of a cleaner edge. Okay, we're doing good. We're like 15 minutes in right now. You are not required to watch this entire video. Depending on what you really wanted to get out of this. After I do this, I'll be working on the elbow, and then I'll work on the diaper. Actually, well, I don't know which order I'll do it, but I'll also work on showing how I created a little bit of shadow to the backdrop so it looks more realistic. Not hard at all, really. It involves more layers and masking. Okay, that's pretty soft, but I don't know why this thing dings at me all the time. Okay, I'm going to be taking this back off down here, so okay, let's go up to the elbow. So there's things that I would probably perfect a little more, but okay. So to do the elbow, I need to get in there smaller here. All right, so I just kind of looked at the shape of his elbow, an imaginary line here. So I'll just kind of go in and color in my imaginary line to give me sort of the shape of his elbow. And there's always, you know, I used Liquify in the very end to kind of give it that final look, but okay. His elbow probably comes down a little more. Okay, and we're going to leave that, and then we'll finish that in the end. Okay, so down here, I switched back to masking it off and just kind of lightly pulled some of the shadow back in. Her foot's gonna start to show through, but again, that's not gonna bother me because I'll fix that. But just to bring some of these shadows back in, and it's a little too much, so well, it's not too much, it's just black. Such a black shadow. Sometimes it takes me a while to get it exactly how I want it. Okay, we'll call that good. Okay, so looks like I got everything there. So that's how I did that side. Don't freak out. I flatten my images as I work. I think that's like highly frowned upon, but if I know or feel confident that it's good, I just flatten it. So you don't have to do this, but I do. Okay, so now I'm going to, again, we're going to do this side. This side will be quick. Lasso tool again. Select a nice area. Copy, paste, and we're just going to pull it over to cover that. And turn it into a layer again, a layer mask. And do the same thing. So first I'll erase it off. Okay, and now I'm gonna put it back on. Oh, that dinging, seriously. All right. We're just gonna go along here, make sure all the colors match up. I might have screwed up on his ear a little bit there, but okay. All right, and then I'm gonna make sure this is kind of blended here. Not that it's like really matters, because I'll fix it in the end, but it still helps to kind of have it blended. Okay, so, oh, that, no, not blended enough. Let's take it off. Okay, that's where that line probably came from in my first edit. Okay, I'm gonna flatten again. Okay, so what should I do next? Let's do his elbow. So first of all, with my, I know some had asked like my editing style, and while I don't think my editing style is like phenomenal, whatever, I guess what I do is I have an ACR, I think they're called presets in ACR. I have an ACR action preset, whatever it is, that they're from Twig and Olive, actually. I have one that I always use, and then I adjust everything after I run it, because there's just a little bit about it that I like, but not like the entire thing. So, you know, I bring down my white balance and other things like that. Anyways, after I run that, I bring it into Photoshop, and then I run portraiture, which I have set. So I just run it on all my images, just does a little sharpening and things like that, and some lightening and smoothing of skin. So that's what I do there. As far as the final, because you can see we have, you know, drool here. I got to get that, his bubbles in his mouth. There's different things like that, but I think most of you know, bruises, know how to do that. And the way I do it is probably, again, not the way everyone else does it. But I use my brush tool, and I select, you know, and just kind of very lightly blend the skin together. That's how I finish those skin tones off in the end. Super light. I don't like over processed, over edited images, so just really light all over. And that's going to kind of help me too over here with some of these color casting, is just lightly pulling, and I mean, I'm barely touching my tablet when I do this, but that's how I fix a lot of different skin tones, or not skin tones, I use something else for skin tones. And like over here, we'll just kind of pull some of that over. But you see how that already made it just a little bit better. So he had this little guy, the little one, has a lot of magenta to him. And again, one of the methods I use for correcting skin tone is something I learned, and I don't know, it was like years ago when I learned it, and I don't know what the rules were when I did that, so I don't know if I can even show you guys me doing it that way. So I'm just gonna leave his skin tones alone. I did learn it though from Ask Damien, so I forget what class it was in. It might have been the Layer and Mask class too. I really liked that one. I liked that class, and then the Raw class. So if you are interested in learning more about it, I mean, I definitely recommend checking it out. He's pretty blunt and can be kind of mean, but he knows what he's doing for the most part. Some stuff. I don't agree with everything, but he would like be freaking out with how I'm editing right now too, as far as like flattening my images and such, but whatever. Okay, so this is looking kind of not perfect, but okay, let's work on this elbow. So what I did is I used the clone stamp tool, and so I want to pay attention to like where these shadows fall, the different skin tones and shadows. It's really important when you're trying to make this look real. So I'm just going to grab a section like this and just kind of follow it down. Oh shoot, my kids are home. It's going to get loud. Don't mind me if I end up yelling at them. So we're just going to pull these colors down, or the skin tones, little bits at a time. Patience is handy and important here. And it's looking scary right now, but we'll fix it. Let's see, we're going to be darker down here. Oh, they always fight when they come home, so I'm waiting for someone to start yelling. And I'm getting nervous, so I'm getting sloppy. So I'm just going to get the majority of this with the clone stamp, and then I'll top it off with a few other things. So, so it's going to be a lot smoother, which is, you know, I want to try to match it up with the rest of the body and stuff though, so that it's not too smooth. But I think hopefully you can kind of get the idea. I suppose I should just finish it so you can really see. I think this would be more just like the artistic editing, coloring, creating type thing here. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my brush tool. Oh boy. And try to blend this a little more. This is getting way smoother than what I originally did with the edit. Like, really smooth, but I really think I'm like nervous because my children are here and I don't want you to have to listen to them. But okay, so that's kind of how I did it. And then to get the edge, I'm just going to use my brush tool and just kind of go through and, no, that's not what I want. Sorry, my clone tool. Because again, I want some of that texture in there. Okay. So, I don't know. Shh, can you be quiet though? Mommy's trying to do something, okay? Okay, so that doesn't look too bad, actually. So there you go. That's how I did the elbow. What else should we do? Oh, the diaper. Okay, let's work on the diaper. So again, it's just gonna be cloning those skin tones. I'm gonna start over here and clone these pants. And like there's things that we will see, but I mean zoomed out, no parent's gonna notice this stuff. They really aren't. The elbow, I can see some issues over there, but you know, they're not gonna notice all of this stuff. So while we do want to take pride in our work, obviously, we don't need to be so worried about it. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the clone and start pulling the skin tones down. At first, when I was doing this, after you guys all said that I should, it was looking funny. It looked like he had like the longest belly and torso ever, but it worked out. I was nervous at first. Okay, so you just want to, you know, grab the right tones, the right colors, the right shading, follow your shadows and where your light is falling. Otherwise, it's not going to look right. So as we get over here, it starts to get darker. And, okay, let's pull this down. Okay, so I want to leave some of these shadows down here to, you know, keep it looking real. Oops. So just let the original shadows be your guide, I guess. So up here there really isn't any shadows, so we're going to get nice and close. I'll finish this off over here. I'm going to be using Liquify to fix some of the different imperfections. Okay, so we're going to get down a little more. That little light is bothering me. Right here, I'm just going to pull this down. And then pull this up to connect. Okay. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. There's some things I would need to go in and finish off, but you get the idea, I think. So, yeah, there's some parts that need some tweaking. Like right in here, we're going to add more of the skin tone in there, very lightly. This white feels like it's showing too much. Okay, and I mean there's more I could do to that, but we'll leave it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Liquify, there it is, and zoom in nice and close. And that's where I'll kind of fix this thing we got going on there. And we didn't really have any. Let's do some little tweaking to this elbow. There's just little bits. I need to fix that over there, that tone. Okay, what else? I don't think I need to liquify anything else. Okay. So there we go. That's how far we are right now. I wonder, let's see. I will pull in the top of his hair here and throw that on top so that you can see how I did that. Okay, so go back to my image and I just pull this down, throw this one on top. I have all my tools on the side that I usually use. Okay, bring the opacity down so I can kind of see where his head is. Control T to adjust this here. I'm going to zoom in a little closer so I can see what I'm doing. Come on. Oh, my computer's not wanting to cooperate. Okay, we're just going to throw it there and call it good. We can move it around. Alright, so I'm going to turn that into a mask. I could invert it. I don't know. I just go like this all the time. But you can invert it, you guys, seriously. Okay, then I'm going to go back in, and I'm just going to slowly start masking the top of that hair back on. Oh, see, we're going to move that over. There we go. Okay. And let's get rid of this color that came back in. So, and then I would go in and fix these colors on top of his head and stuff too, obviously, but okay, that looks pretty good there. That fixed, you know, his hair from looking so cut and paste. He's got like a horn. All right. So finished that. Okay, now let's add some shadows to make this look more realistic on the side here. Like I said, there's a method I use, but I don't think I can show you how it's done. So since this is going to be a little different to me, I might not do it like perfect, but basically what I want to do is I want to be changing the levels on this side to add more shadows, you know, compared to this side. So since I have to do a little different, I think I'll do, okay, so we'll select levels, and I'll just pay attention to this side. I don't want to worry about this. The whole image is going to change when I do this, but I just want to keep this in mind, trying to get it a little darker. So I'm just going to kind of do this, get just a little more, a little darker on that side, and then no coughing in the microphone, child. Okay, then I'm going to mask it back off on this side. Mask it off of them for sure, because we don't want them to get any darker since they have all that color casting already. Yes, shh. As long as you keep the volume off for the TV, okay? Okay, we'll zoom in a little bit closer. Make sure I don't have any, you know, halos going on or anything on them here. Okay, I think that's good. Let's see before and after. Oh, it's a little bit. I kind of like it a little bit on him. Okay, so you can see how that helps, you know, make it look like there's a little bit of, you know, shadow, a natural occurring shadow from them. A little bit. Okay. So now the last thing someone asked is my background. How do I get it so smooth? So here's the deal with my backdrop. I use this backdrop for every single session. I love this color. I needed a new one, and I ordered it, and it came with this huge crease down the middle. It's a 107 inch. I don't know how 107 inch has a huge crease down the middle. It's like the Hulk folded it in half. So it was too late. I had a session that day, the day it came, so I couldn't return it. So I've been making do. It's not fun at all because I have to edit this stupid wrinkly crease thing, and it goes all the way up. Mom just happened to be standing there, thank goodness. And I'm gonna skip showing you, you know, editing that down there because it's just insane. So basically I take my paint, my brush tool, and I'm just gonna take and start selecting, you know, colors, the shadows, and just start smoothing it out. This is all I do to smooth out my backdrops, my backgrounds. And then we'll come in here like this. You know, since I'm using such a feathered brush, though, I have to be careful for their little feet and edges of them. And so I might get some on them here while I'm doing this, but this is just to give you an idea what I do. So right here, we're going to pull the shadow out, just follow these shadows and slowly start covering, blending, covering, all of that. Okay, I'll make this a little bigger and get this taken care of. Pull this to the side. Whoops. Getting crazy. Okay. Okay. So, you know, that's how I smooth out my backdrop, and then I just do the same thing, just kind of pull all those shadows and colors around. And you don't want to do too much though, because if you do too much, you're going to get some serious banding going on. So you have to be, you know, use some good judgment here when you're doing this. The other thing for expanding backdrops, there's another thing you can do, which I think someone else did a video on this too in the group, but use this tool here and then free transform and pull it up. Now what you're doing though is you're stretching pixels. So you want to do the same thing where you go in, and it's nice to just kind of get that initial color where you want it, but then go in and make sure you're blending that so you don't have a bunch of ugly pixels in your image. Okay guys, like I think we're good. I think we got it. Like I said, didn't mess with their skin tones. I won't even show you that, but yeah, that is all of it. So there you have it. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm going to be posting this in a couple different places. My methods probably aren't, I mean, I'm sure there's different methods to some of the things I do, but this is just what I do. So, you know, I'm not saying that what I do is the right, wrong, or perfect way, but that's how I do it. That's how I achieve that. And you can see, let's compare. Yeah, pretty darn good. You know, obviously I'd crop this and all that, but yeah, looks good. Might actually be better. Jeez, just kidding. But anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I am totally up to helping people. I mean, that's the only way any of us learn, is by helping each other. I think it's good to do. So, okay. Well, I hope everything was as you expected. Thanks.